Hello everybody, I'm KC, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About. Today, let's conclude our Pokemon 20th anniversary celebration and talk about what Pokemon means to me. This year, we've celebrated Pokemon's 20th anniversary, and even if I haven't exactly kept up with my own schedule, I've been trying to celebrate this wonderful franchise during an impressive milestone in any way I could think of. But even though I've talked about what I love about the games, the anime, the manga, and even just the Pokemon themselves, I don't think I've fully expressed what Pokemon means to me. Pokemon has been a part of my life for almost as long as I can remember, and it's never left. Because of that, it's left an impact on me in all sorts of ways in many different aspects of my life. Pokemon means a lot to me, and I think it's time I tell you why. This may not be as well structured as some of my other videos, but I'll do my best to keep things clear. In my top 12 favorite Pokemon video, I mentioned that I've been a fan of Pokemon since I was 6 years old, back when Pokemon was just coming to the Western world and became a phenomenon practically overnight. I fell into the hype hard. Every kid has that one thing they absolutely obsessed with, and for me, that was Pokemon. While I did play the games, I was a little kid and wasn't very good at them, so the anime is really what had me hooked, and I would reenact adventures with my sister and friends all the time. Pokemon caught my imagination like crazy. It's even what got me started taking drawing seriously. While at first I just traced over the images in the How to Draw book, as time went on, I got more confidence to do it more often, and now it's something I absolutely love doing and one of the skills I'm most proud of. You could probably track my progress as an artist through my Pokemon fan art. Heck, Pokemon was the first step I took into the world of gaming. It's the only reason I owned a Game Boy Color or a Nintendo 64, and I wasn't the only one. For about a year or two, Pokemon was huge. Everyone loved it as much as I did. I always had someone at school or on the bus to trade cards with or talk about certain parts of the game. And even though a lot of us were too young to know about things like Game Shark codes or legit strategy, it didn't make the experience any less memorable. Pokemon is a game that is super linear with a lot of freedom, so everyone had a different story to tell, and it was great. Pokemon was a universal language, and I spoke it fluently. And then something happened. I've noticed that almost anyone who loved Pokemon past the original wave of Pokemania has a version of this story. That almost overnight, Pokemon suddenly wasn't cool anymore. Maybe this was just our first experience of watching a trend die out, but it was kind of a punch to the gut to have my fellow classmates say that Pokemon was for little kids when we were 8 years old, that they weren't going to waste their time with it. But that didn't stop me. I still love Pokemon just as much as ever, and while it wasn't the only reason I was bullied at that age, it wasn't helping. But I didn't care. I think I remember maybe 2 weeks when I tried to join the mindset of I'm too old for Pokemon, but it didn't last. Even if I didn't like being bullied, I wasn't going to give up something I loved because of that. Fast forward a few years to another time when Pokemon was very helpful for me. I was about to turn 10, and as you can probably guess, it was a year I had been looking forward to for a long time. But then, I got sick. Really sick. I won't go into too much detail, but I was in and out of the hospital, constantly having treatments, and I couldn't go outside and play. And I was a kid in the middle of my summer vacation, so that just made me feel worse. But my best friend and family were there for me, and so was Pokemon. This was around the time Ruby and Sapphire came out, and I played Sapphire a lot during that time. Probably the most I've played any Pokemon game, except maybe Leaf Green. Now I know the Hoenn region practically inside and out. In fact, revisiting it for Alpha Sapphire was kind of a surreal experience, to be honest. But those games allowed me to explore and have an adventure in a fantastic world in a way I couldn't explore my real world at the time. And most of the times I remember my family trying to cheer me up during that time, Pokemon was involved in one form or another. It was something important for me at the time, and that may be why, even though I love every generation of Pokemon, the third generation of games have remained my favorite. After that, I started dedicating more of my time and passion into other franchises, and as the years went on, those interests expanded. But Pokemon never really left. It wasn't something I dropped and forgot about for an extended period of time. But as time went on, I found other ways to enjoy it. As I got older, I got more curious about the origins and makings of some of my favorite movies and TV shows, mostly with stuff like Aardman and Disney and Pixar, but don't think Pokemon was left out of the mix. I used to get this Pokemon-focused magazine called Beckett Pokemon Collector, and for a while, they had an article called Real Life Pokemon, where they would explain what real-life things influence the creations of certain Pokemon. I was already fascinated with mythology and zoology, but learning about the origins of Pokemon took it to a whole new level. Now I was able to appreciate how much thought and research went into creating the details of every single Pokemon out there. And it's something I still appreciate whenever a new batch of Pokemon are revealed. It was a fun way to learn more about the world around me that I may not have looked into otherwise. And also, probably best of all, the social aspect returned. Kind of. During Pokemon's 10th anniversary, I heard about the Pokemon Journey Across America tour, which was basically a traveling Pokemon convention. Naturally, I went to one of the locations that wasn't too far away from me, and what I found was surprising. There were tons of people there. You might think that's weird to say. You might say, of course there were tons of people there. It was a huge event for Pokemon's first milestone anniversary. But keep in mind, at this point in time, I was a lonely, homeschooled kid recently turned teen, so my social circle was the smallest it had ever been, and by that point, nobody really cared about Pokemon anymore. But my family were still happy to take me to this event, and I'm glad they did, because I realized I wasn't alone. There weren't just little kids there. There were people my age and even older enjoying the event as much as I did. That was something almost alien to me at the time, and it really made me feel a lot better about just becoming a teenager and still loving things like Pokemon. And I was a bit disappointed that they didn't do something like this for the 20th anniversary. I loved the experience so much that I also went to a premiere event for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl less than a year later at the newly opened Nintendo World. And that was even more fun. I even made a friend there that, while I lost touch with her a long time ago, was really fun to chat with while it lasted. And she was very helpful at guiding me through some of the messier parts of Pokemon Diamond, but that's neither here nor there. And while I haven't been to a premiere event since, I haven't missed a release date for a main series Pokemon game. Except for Alpha Sapphire, but I was kinda tight on money when that came out. Still, those events were a wonderful time, and I really hope to attend another someday. But even without attending events, there was still a way to know that there were people of all ages out there in the world who still loved Pokemon. The internet. When I got really deep into YouTube, I found all sorts of people whose content consisted of Pokemon material, with people like Jaywitz and Tamashi Hiroka having the same kind of lifelong passion for the franchise that I did. I even discovered talented reviewers like Linkara and Suede through their Pokemon content, even if it's not usually their primary focus. And after a while, the PokeTuber community grew larger, and so did the amount of Pokemon-related channels. Unlisted Leaf, Ace Trainer Liam, Aura Guardian, Ilnej, the list goes on and on and on and on. So many different kinds of content, so many viewpoints, all centered around Pokemon. It was, again, another sign that I wasn't the only one who still cared about Pokemon, while providing some amazing content that continued to make me think more and more about things in Pokemon that I may have never thought of. By the way, I'm sure this goes without saying, but these channels are all amazing, and they are people you should be subscribed to. Check out their stuff. It's great. With so many fans out there, following the news for Pokemon X and Y was more fun than the anticipation for a Pokemon game had been in a while. In fact, I bought my 2DS just to play Pokemon Y on, and I bought it myself with money I had earned from my first job that I still hold today. And for me, it was a sign that I would continue to love Pokemon as I stepped into adulthood. Also, I didn't think I was going to share this, but Y was the first Pokemon game I completed. Yeah, it took me that long to become a champion. But I've since beat White and Diamond with my old teams, and every game since. Yet, even with all of this, I was mostly a spectator, just enjoying what others put out and not even commenting that much. I wasn't really contributing the way I would have liked to. But last year, I decided to start this channel, and when this wonderful anniversary came only a few months later, I wanted to dedicate this year to Pokemon in any way I could think of. And Pokemon gave us so much content that there was always something to talk about. From a new miniseries, to brand new and nostalgic trading card sets, to all sorts of different merchandise, to a whole new and probably the most unique generation so far, to Pokemania 2.0, it was a great time to finally get involved. And even though there are some bigger subjects that I haven't gotten to yet due to scheduling conflicts, don't think just because the anniversary is over that we're not still going to talk about Pokemon every now and then. Pokemon has given me a lot, and this anniversary in particular was jam-packed with a little bit of everything that makes Pokemon fun and exciting. But you know what's really made this anniversary great? What made me shouting into the void of the internet about this silly little franchise I've loved for most of my life worthwhile? You guys. I know this has been a rough year for a lot of people, and while for the most part for me it was pretty good, there were a few ups and downs towards the end there. But I'll tell you one of the best things about this year. Pokemon has inspired me and helped me get through lonely times, but this year, I shared my love for this franchise, and people listened. People tuned in to hear what I had to say. They were interested to see what I was going to talk about next. They shared those videos with wonderful comments, and even let me expand that love onto their own platforms. The fact that people were not only willing to listen, but enjoyed listening to me ramble on and on about Pokemon has been intensely gratifying. Even just following along with the news about Pokemon Sun and Moon as it came out, with some people I now consider friends. For the first time since I was 8 years old, even though I've known that people out there still love Pokemon, I felt a real sense of personal camaraderie and a bond over the excitement for what else Pokemon was going to release this year. I know that the games are linear. I know that the anime is stagnant. I know that a lot of people only view Pokemon as a pure toy commercial and a mass marketing tool, and that's fine. Because to me and many others, it's so much more. Everything it's done for me intellectually, creatively, and personally has meant so much. And so have you. Even if I don't have the largest subscriber count out there, the fact that you clicked on one of these videos, shared it, commented, or even just took the time to listen has been one of the highlights of my year, and even my life. However long you've been watching, whether it was for the last 12 months or just the last few minutes, thank you. Thank you all. It means more than you'll ever know. And thank you, Pokemon, for everything. Here's to 20 more. And if you want to share what Pokemon means to you, or just what your favorite thing about Pokemon's 20th anniversary was, feel free in the comments. I'll see you guys next time.